My name is Anita Makharia, and I'm the founder and CEO of Shubkamnae Events and Experiences. We are into the business of creating mesmerizing experiences and celebrating your happiness. We are a team of young enthusiasts who believe that every event is supposed to be a mesmerizing experience for our clients. And how do we achieve this? By blending innovations with traditions as well as combining style with elegance. We cater to three verticals of event management, that is social events, which includes weddings, destination weddings, theme stories, and it includes milestone celebrations. We do corporate events, which include team building activities, product launches, etc., and BTL activations. With our office being in Bangalore, Hyderabad, Pune, and Chennai, we cater to pan India requirements. And yes, we look forward to doing a lot of destination weddings across the globe. Since most of you here are budding event planners or entrepreneurs into the event management field, I would like to just share a piece of my interest towards events or what brought me into events to all of you. Events is something which needs a lot of passion. You need to be very passionate about what you do. That holds good for any field or that you're taking forward, which you're going to choose or which you're looking forward to be a part of. But of course, when it comes to event management, it is very much different because somebody's special days are dependent on you. It involves a lot of odd working hours. It involves a lot of stress. It involves a lot of planning, being on the toes always, coming up with ideas, being creative, always having a backup plan ready in case something doesn't work. Are you able to make arrangements? Because remember that whether it is a social event or a corporate event or a marketing activity, no matter what you do, it is somebody else's goal and objective that you are going to cater to. So you actually are going to live many dreams at once. So, having said that, it gives me a kick, this kind of a stress, this kind of a pressure, this kind of being a part of everybody's happiness. That is what gives me a kick, and that is why I'm here into the event industry. So, having said that, you all are very lucky that you all have platforms where you can learn through books and through various other channels and sources, as well as get some from our experiences as well. Today, we are going to talk about strategic planning, the steps involved in it, and how what is the way forward here. We all know that plans are nothing. It is planning that is everything. And if you fail to plan, then you are planning to fail. Okay, so just ponder over it and you will understand what I mean in the remaining part of the session. This is an extended extension of our previous session. In our previous session, we had learned about what is event planning, what is the process in event planning, what are the departmental coordinations, and what can be done, what are the various departments that need coordination in the planning processes. Today, we dive deep into something called strategic planning or building of strategies or your planning process, and what are the steps involved in a strategic planning, what are the challenges that we may face, what are we concluding with at the end of the session. Okay, there are lots of terms which will come of value to you. I strongly recommend that you carry your pen and paper, make notes as I speak. It could be of great help and great value to you at the end of the session. uh, I hope you're always ready. If not, I'll just say 10 seconds. Quickly grab your pen and papers. Be prepared. Yes. Would you actually get into a car if you don't know where you're going? How much sense does it make? Yes, at times we do have plans wherein, we just make random plans with our friends, or we just want to go out somewhere, we just take the car. But somewhere at the back of the mind, you know that you want to go to a restaurant or you want to go for a long drive, or whether you want to go to a friend's house or to a relative's place, or you want to just hang around somewhere. So why get into a car when you don't know where you're going? You have to take the car to the place where you want to go. This is what actually is event planning process or strategic planning all about. Your goals can be reached only through a vehicle of a plan in which we must believe and upon which we must vigorously act, as there is no shortcut to success. So, in case you want to be successful in your events, you must be having a very strong planning process in place. You should ensure that you are actually understanding the goals and objectives. You know what your creatives are supposed to be. You're planning and you're coordinating, and you're designing in such a manner that finally the end objective is attainable. So we are talking about strategic planning. What is a strategy? Yes, a strategy is a plan of action to achieve an objective that is usually major, comprehensive, and long term. Here, all the members of the organization will work together to make the change, to actually first come up with a design or make the desired changes to get the goals of the organization, to achieve the goals of the organization. Okay, so basically strategy is a plan to achieve what you want to, and strategy generally is a longer word. Okay, it is for a long term goal and objective. It could include your mission statements, your vision statements, it addresses your critical business issues. What are your critical success factors? What are you good at? It involves your SWOT analysis, the SWOT analysis as we term it. These words may sound very new to you, but it's okay. This is something which is very important. So please do listen carefully and make notes. In case even after this session you still have doubts, you can always connect back with me. My email ID will be shared at the end of the session. It's anithamakaria@gmail.com. I'll be sharing it at the end of the session with all of you as well. So, here we dive into strategic planning. See, as I told you, that the end objective of any organization is to achieve some goals. So, the management activity that gives an organization the best chance to achieve their goals and objectives is known as strategic planning. So, where are we standing now? Where do you want to go? This gap between where you are and where you want to go, or what you want to be, or what you want to deliver, this process or this gap is filled by something called strategic planning. That is, how are we going to get from here to there? Okay, so in any situation, the basic purpose of strategic planning is where do you want to go and how are you going to go there. That is the basic explanation for strategic planning. Now, there are various frameworks and methodologies which are involved in strategic planning and management. I repeat that this is a very important part of your course material, because this is not important only for you, as in whether be it a corporate, be it a social event, be it a marketing event, be it any form of an event. Planning is your basis for any kind of an execution. So please do focus well and please do try to understand and relate well to what is being taught in today's session. As I was saying, that frameworks and methodologies for strategic planning and management could be of various forms in various organizations, and as no two events are like one, similarly, based on what your organizational goals are or what you want to achieve, you may have your own frameworks. But the basics of this is a 4 point, wherein first you analyze or assess, or you come up with an understanding of the current and internal and the external environments, and you develop on it. Okay, so what do you mean by internal environments and what are your external environments? Internal apartments are your strengths, your capabilities. It is about your departments. Okay, when you talk about external environment, what could be your external environments? Yes, external environments could include your client's aspirational goals. It could, if I have to put it in other words, it could involve your vendors. Okay. Second point is strategy formulation, where high level strategy is developed and a basic organizational level strategic plan is documented. Okay, so this is where first you're analyzing and assessing the situations, and then you're coming with a basic plan. Okay, in the basic plan, you're actually, what could be your basic organizational plan? What, that's your first level of strategies. Once your strategies are in place, you are actually brainstorming on them, and then you come up with something called a strategy execution. Okay, where this plan is now translated at an operational levels, okay, with action items. So first was analysis and assessments of the situations or your goals and objectives. Second is strategy formulations and designings. Third is your execution, strategy execution. Final point comes your evaluation. That is your sustainment, your management phase, where ongoing refinement and evaluation of performances, communications, data reporting, the culture, other strategic management issues may occur here. So, first you are actually assessing or analyzing the external and internal environments. You are formulating a strategy at a basic levels. You are finally executing the strategy which was first made. You are evaluating and understanding what went wrong, what went right, what works best, where can you improve, what's the feedback, what are the management issues that came up, and then you are remodeling yourself again if need be. Got it? What are the steps involved in strategic planning? See, a vision without a strategy remains an illusion. Okay, now you know you are dreaming big. But if you don't know how to reach there and you don't plan and work accordingly, then that just remains a dream, right? It's not converting into a reality. So the basic strategy planning is, if I can put it, it is a cycle. You know, you are creating a SWOT analysis. We will be coming to what is SWOT analysis. That's your strength, weaknesses, your objectives, or your threats. Okay. Then you are formulating a strategy. You're proposing missions, proposing your goals, examining your internal issues, external issues, and then again re-strategizing. So it is one ongoing circle. You must have heard me use the word vision quite a few times today. So, what exactly is a vision? Vision is a narration of a company's final objective or aspirations. So, that acts as a directing principle for an organization. It is a starting point actually, because that is from where that, you know, a direction is placed to the entire organization and to the departments, from where they can actually pick up the next set of activities. If you don't have a vision, you cannot plan your mission, or you cannot plan the next set of activities. Hence, being very clear, being very concise, being very crisp, knowing what you want, your vision has to be correct. What is a mission? People get confused between a vision and a mission, so I will be explaining the differences between a vision and a mission in just a couple of minutes. But we need to understand what is a mission first. The mission, in simple terms, means a statement or a short narration of what the organization is doing in the present state towards the achievement of the vision. So mission actually, it sets the framework for the set of activities to be performed by individuals or by units or by departments across the entire entity. Mission guides on how you can achieve your vision. Now, if you want to clearly understand what is a mission and a vision and what are the differences between these two, I would like to take you through, because you may just wonder, right? Okay, I want to grow as a big event planning company. That is my mission. That is my vision. Is that your mission also? Mission is what you're doing for it. So, the difference between a vision and mission is one, vision focuses on the future or on tomorrow, and the mission focuses on present, that is your today or now. Vision helps in understanding the ultimate goal and objective of an organization, whereas a mission helps you to recognize what an organization needs to do to achieve that particular goal. Vision promotes motivation and inspiration, whereas a mission encourages to keep a focus on the current state of affairs that are to be performed. Vision signifies the company's final destination. Mission is actually the journey. It denotes on how a company will reach out to that particular destination. Vision will not change so frequently as it is the company's final objective. The mission may change, taking into account the changing circumstances, or when you need to upgrade when something's not working as as you wanted it to. So maybe you'll just make the small interdepartmental changes or some changes in your strategies. So a mission still has scope of changing and adaptabilities. Okay, and vision has a long timeline because that is your final destination. Mission have shorter timelines and look forward to going step by step. Now, since you know what a vision and what a mission is, it's time for doing a short activity. You would want to start your own event management company. What would be your vision and mission statement? Okay. And the second point of homework for you is you are to help your client, say Toyota Cars, to build their vision and mission statement. What would be your suggestions to them? Interesting, right? So, if you have any doubt in coming up with these, you can always reach out to me. I hope you've made a note of these two activities to be done. Let's move on to the next topic now. Now we've understood what is our vision statement, what is our mission statement, what are the core values of our company, what is the purpose of being there, right? Now next comes why are we doing this and what do we want to do? Okay, that is again aiming at your goals and objectives. Now what do you think? Is goal and objective the same, or is there any difference? A goal is a broad primary desired outcome. An objective is something which is measurable step to take to achieve a strategy that can get you to that goal. So like how you have a vision and a mission, you have a goal and an objective. I hope that is clear. So if you look at this particular picture, the vision and missions are very clearly set. Next, you have to decide what are your goals. Okay. Now I want to become a big event management company. That is my vision. My mission is I'm going to get today, I'm here and I'm going to get there and I'm going to do this to get there. For this current year, for this current financial year, my goals are to be a 50 crore company. Okay. What am I doing about it? I am going to set smaller objectives. As a department, we need to work on this. My sales team has to work. My marketing team has to work together. My executions have to be very good so that, I get referrals over referrals and I get events over events so that that measurable quantity of that objective that I have, I can reach there, strategize in such a manner that it gets me to my goal there. To achieve any vision or a mission or a goal or an objective, you need to be smart. Okay? Smart is both. I mean it literally that you need to be a smart person when you are on the work field. At the same time, smart is an is also an acronym for being specific. S is being specific. M is measurable. A is attainable. R is relevant, T is timely. Okay, so what is very important is that you should be able to define your vision statements or your goals and objectives very, very clearly with no unclear language or ambiguity. Who is going to be involved? What is to be done? What do you want to accomplish? Where it has to be done? Why am I doing this? What are the constraints that might come across? So you have to specifically define all these questions. Okay, you need to have an answer for these, and that is when you can actually move forward. When you talk about measurable, see, if you don't know what you're doing, if there's no way that you can actually measure whether you're being successful or not, whether you're being able to deliver or not, there should be some way of measuring this, right? So it should be able to help you track your progress that you're meeting so far. What are the outcomes that are happening? How much? How many? How will I know whether my goal is being accomplished? How far am I from the goal? What am I planning? Now there is a there for smart. A stands for attainable, achievable goals and objectives. Is this goal reasonably good enough? Is it possible for me to accomplish this? If yes, how am I going to accomplish this? Make sure that the goal is not out of reach. It shouldn't be too high a goal, over ambitious goals, or something which is completely low. I mean, you can actually do it, but just to just to satisfy your ego that I achieved a goal. Your goals should be as per your standards and what you are able to deliver. Yes, you should always aim a little higher, but don't make it unreasonably high where it is demotivating that you're not able to achieve it. Because at the end of the day, there are restrictions, right? All of us have limited resources, limited capabilities. So make sure that you are identifying goals which are best in the interest of your organizational values as well. Next is being relevant. Is the goal worthwhile and will it meet your needs? Is it that each goal is consistent with the other goals that you have? Is it properly established? Is your goal properly established, and does it fit into your immediate plans, or does it fit into your long term plans as well? So hence it just whenever you're planning, whenever you're starting with this kind of a strategy, or when you're planning your goals and objectives, you should always be realistic. Okay, your last but the not the least is being on time. You should have your timely deliverables. Are your objectives within the time limits? Are you all working on it? Okay, and you should have those timelines very very well defined. If it is an urgency, if it is a matter of urgency, are you able to achieve it fast? Do you need prompt actions? What are you doing for the prompt actions? So based on this, be smart in designing of your goals and objectives and in its execution as well. Hope you have no doubts here. Remember in the previous slide, I had spoken about your SWOT analysis, that is your SWOT. So, what do you mean by this? So, this is one such type of an analysis where a company, whether offline or online, conducts strategic planning, and it is very important not only to analyze your own business but also your competitors' business activities also, and what are the current happenings in the industry. A few of the objectives that we've listed down for you to have a better understanding on why this kind of an analysis is important is because it actually promotes strategic thinking. It helps in designing or in decision making. It helps you acknowledge the opportunities and threats that you have towards your business. It gives you a better understanding of the positives and the negatives of the business. It helps you organize the factors that work best or the worst for your business. It helps in performing the pre crisis planning and preventive crisis management as well. So, when we are talking about SWOT analysis, we talk about strengths, we talk about weaknesses, we talk about opportunities in your objectives, we talk about the threats. What about your strengths? Okay, what are your what are the advantages that you have? Why should a client come to you? What is your USP, that is your unique selling point? What is it that you do better than anybody else? What is your unique or the lowest cost of resources that others don't have? What are your strengths according to your clients? Okay, that is what your strengths is all about. So you need to first actually understand, when you why are you better than the others? Why are you the best or the go-to person or the go-to agency or to go-to company for this particular event? Once, on one hand, when we have strengths, there are possibilities that we have our own set of weaknesses as well. And it is very necessary that you identify your weaknesses, because you cannot, you should not promote or promise anything which is not in your capacity. So what is it that you can still improve? What are your weak points? What are the point areas of improvement? I generally would not like to use negative words too much, so I'd rather say that what is your scope of improvement? Okay, you need to identify that and work on that. What is it that you should be avoiding? Say I'm not say if I'm not a technical person, okay, I don't have a very sound technical background, okay. I'm not good at layout designing. I am good at creating plants, or I'm good at creating something with flowers, and maybe I'm good at drapes, I'm good at colors, but I'm not good with the light and sound. So do you think I should be sitting with the light and sound box, or should I be focusing on what is my strength? Yes, so it is very necessary that I identify what my weak areas are, work on that. You should always improvise and strengthen your strengths. At the same time, you should take care of your weaknesses and try to work on that. Okay. What is it that what is it that you like to avoid? What you're not good at? Identify that part of it. Now, when I talk about opportunities, what do we mean by opportunities? Okay, what are some kind of events or holidays that you would love to take advantage of? There might be something which I've always wanted to try. We've learned that there are different types of events, right? There's a huge scope of events. Once you enter this field, this is an ocean in itself. So there are so many things that you can do. You might have started with a couple of things. Now, what are the other opportunities that you can grasp? What according to your strengths? Okay, what are the interesting trends that you are aware of? What are the opportunities for collaborations? What are some of the brands that align well with your organizational values? Okay, so you need to identify what are the other opportunities, because once you identify the other opportunities, there is more scope for you to grow. Next comes your threats. Are there many changes in technology? Is it threatening your position? Like how I said, I'm not a technical person, so that there somewhere there's a threat, right? If there is some kind of an event where we need to be technically very sound, then that becomes a threat to me, because a competitor may get an edge over me. So what am I going to do about this? Of course, I'm going to upskill myself. Of course, I'm going to get a very strong back-end support team who's going to work strongly on it. So, that is one threat I will take care of immediately. Do you have money problems? Are you financially, is your organization financially very sound to invest more, get the required resources? Are you in a position to grow bigger by your own investments? Who is your competition? What are your weakness? Are your weaknesses threatening your bit of existence already? Okay, see, it is always nice to be honest and to accept. Okay, so one area that I always insist, rather I'll make it two areas that I would always insist on a person to work out or to watch out on is: what are the weaknesses, what are your threats? You know what your strengths are, you know how to grasp your opportunities. If you're only looking at these two but you're forgetting to work on your weaknesses and work on your threats, then no matter how much you're going to work forward, there is a scope that you'll get pulled back. Hence, when you are planning, when you are sitting with your teams, when you're in the planning process, you need to make sure that you have this analysis very well in place. As I said, this becomes self explanatory, right? What are the advantages of this SWOT analysis? It helps the organization to analyze whether or not the defined objective is achievable. It helps in decision making to have a proper vision, and the process becomes more practical with efficient results. It helps in deciding the major organizational priorities. It helps in building a better strategy in accordance with the status of your organization or the business or the industry per se as well. However, the limitations that may come across would be that it could lead to misinterpretation of your external and internal factors, okay, or your business surroundings. For example, focusing on only a single strength, like, you want to cost, let's reduce the cost. our our forte is that we give the best pricing, so you'll want to go in for cost reduction. But while you're doing this, are you actually making the quality go down? Is your product quality suffering because of that? So it becomes very important that you actually consider all the factors. Hence, SWOT is performed to define the goals and objectives, okay? And misuse may lead to distraction from the actual barriers. Hence, you need to be very careful and keep the organization's objectives above the welfare of the communities, okay? If you keep, you need to keep the welfare of the community and the organizational objectives at par. So as I was telling about the limitations, so what happens, what happens sometimes is, your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, your threats may confuse you at times. Just a few examples, if I have to give you, is, you may have a strong brand name. That could be a strength, but it could work negative for you as well. What are you doing about it? Are you able to maintain it? How good is your material management system? Okay. Uh, what are your human competency skills? If I talk about weaknesses, do you have your, are you a high cost structure? Are you, or do you have obsolete or narrow product lines? Are you working on this? If I talk about the opportunities, um, are you exploiting the unfulfilled customers needs, or are you expanding your core business or businesses? Are you applying the right R&D and D and skills? Are you making use of everything? When you talk about the threat possibilities, it could be, are you worried about the increase in labor costs or your domestic competitions? What are you doing about your trade barriers? What are the trade barriers becoming a threat to you? What are the new regulations? Are you able to be compliant with your new regulations? What are the changes in consumer tastes, in their behaviors? What are the new forms or the new norms of your industries? Are you able to take care of all these? Hence, what happens is, many times your SWOT analysis becomes very circumstantial. So you need to sit back and rework on this. I would like to just conclude by saying that, SWOT analysis is very important because it comes up with huge insights of your own business, of your own teams. You get to know of your strengths and weaknesses, okay? And that is when you, as a management industry or a business, it can help you increase your efficiencies and your organizational effectiveness. Hence, you need to actually be very careful in this analysis and make a report accordingly and work on that particular report. Activity time. You are to launch a new cell phone in the market. Please make a SWOT analysis report on this. What are the challenges that as an organization you may face? We had spoken about SWOT analysis, we had spoken about being smart. So now, when you have to launch a new product in the market, what is it that you will suggest best to the client? Just try to work on this. In case you have any doubts, you can always reach out to me. You can write to me at anitamarkaria@gmail.com. Thank you so very much for listening so patiently, and I hope this has added value to you all. Thank you so very much, and Shubkamne for all the days to come.